Of all the obstacles we creatives face, the lack of inspiration is probably the biggest one, yet the most underestimated. I used to believe inspiration would come while scrolling on my iPhone, but I was then wrong. For several years, I believed that inspiration was something that had to be found. So I searched for it everywhere in the most convenient ways possible. And for me, this always meant using social media as a source of inspiration, especially spending hours and hours scrolling on Instagram. I would open the Explore page, checking what brands are doing, what creators are doing, and almost always I ended up scrolling through reels, with no sense, sending DMs to my friends just to laugh together. And this scrolling routine usually turned out to be like 2+ hours of time spent on Instagram and left me with a chaotic visual nonsense that led nowhere. Visual overload was the main issue for me because it's so easy to get in touch with millions of creators. You can see what they're posting online for photos, videos, thoughts, stories, whatever. And having access to an endless examples of art fills our head with so much that there is no space left for us to react to anything. And the perfect example for me is I was used to be kind of amazed by seeing incredible landscape photos. I was looking for the Alberta Lake or the Utah Desert, anything like that. But nowadays, if I see those kind of photos, I'm like, man, okay, I already saw it. And that's, for me, it's like a turning point because now it's also normalized. And to be amazed these days, we need to see something crazy. Or the other way around, like me, we need to see something very, very simple, where, for example, it's not the place that amazed me, but the simplicity of the scene. And another reason of why we are kind of so overwhelmed by this whole thing and we experience lack of inspiration is the lack of routine. At least for me, it's so easy to get dragged into the chaos of freelancing. From morning to evening, I have the freedom to do basically anything. I can scroll on Instagram the whole day and my boss is not complaining. I wasted hours online looking for photos, videos. I was using that time to justify myself because I was saying, yeah, I'm working, so I'm finding inspiration. So yeah, it's good. But the truth is, doing this whenever I feel like, it's exactly like scrolling on Instagram because you get access to whatever you want in any moment and the final result is the same. You fill your brain with a lot of noise and at the end, you don't have time to be creative. Anyway, before moving on and talking about what I actually implemented to overcome this problem, I want to share some sources of inspiration that truly worked for me. So let's start with the most basic yet unexpected one, books. There are 3 categories of books that inspire me the most: autobiographies, photo monographs, and problem-solving books for creatives. In the first category, I place all the books that are written by photographers, adventurers, or creative telling their personal story, like origin story, creative struggles, and how they get out of them. One example is this book from Chris Burkard, where he tells how he started out as a photographer, living in a van and driving around the California coast, shooting surfers. The second category is the photo monographs, and those are collections of work with a clear purpose. My favorite one is this one from Salgado, and this one is called Workers, which of course focuses on workers. What I love about these books is that they remind me that the most powerful photos often don't come from epic locations or famous talents, but from telling real and ordinary stories. The last category are narrative books about problem solving, like this one. And they're often about problems that creatives used to face. And some good ones that I recommend are Ego is My Enemy, The War of Art, and this one, The Creative Act. So my suggestion is to fill up your Amazon chart with these kind of books because they can teach you a lot of good things instead of buying useless gear that won't improve your creativity. Another huge source of inspiration for me is photographers' websites, and much more than their Instagram pages. Websites let you understand better their photography projects, their structure, and the thought process. And the good thing, you will often find the personal projects section, and that's where the real stuff is, because it's unfiltered photos from the photographers, not contaminated by client's request or client's vision, so it's just a pure vision from the artist. And I spend a lot of time searching for these kind of categories in photographers' website to study their compositions, their colors, what they're looking for when they shoot. And the most important thing is I keep asking myself why I keep coming back to their website, to their work. So I used to ask myself, what's so inspiring for me about these photographers? Moving on, there are magazine and zines, which are very similar each other somehow. And there are hundreds of them. Of course, I won't explore each of them, but I will just mention a couple. So the first one, and probably is my favorite magazine out there, is Sidetracked. Here I read so many fascinating stories, often extreme situations in remote places, but what inspired me the most is how extraordinary people are. They are like photographers like me and you, and they are doing crazy adventures that I would love to do. Then a zine that I really enjoyed is this one from Alex Rowe, but each of them used to tell a specific story. So for example, this one tells nothing crazy, like a bike touring in a little part of Iceland, or others are like a short trip in Montana, something like that. And the good thing about these zines is that sometimes the photos are taken with a normal camera, not like the most expensive one, but sometimes they are the most cheapest point and shoot cameras, or sometimes with a phone as well. So it's nothing crazy, really. They're just stories and photos. I also find Pinterest a great source of inspiration, mainly because I use it intentionally. I go there to build mood boards for specific projects, and I get the inspiration for the mood, the composition, and even for some activities. And the way Pinterest suggests similar images, that's super game changer for me, because I can easily find what I'm looking for in a very short period of time. Finally, a special mention is the format you shot with. Shooting on film is what stimulates me the most. Maybe it's the colors, maybe it's the mood, maybe it's the mindfulness that comes with shooting film, or that you have to wait probably a week or so to see actually what you shot. But film pushes me to create new personal projects and to enjoy the full process. Maybe for you it's a different format. It can be a simple point-and-shoot camera, a VHS camera, or even like the most expensive Leica on the planet. What matters the most is it has to be something that excites you to shoot with. You have to be happy, you have to have fun shooting with that. And that's what makes the real difference. Okay, but what you should do to get inspired now that I mentioned that you don't have to look for inspiration? So I've got two suggestions. They are not like scientific suggestions. It's simply what worked for me, and maybe it won't work for you, but I think it deserves to be mentioned. So the first one is to organize your calendar. So here you have to set aside time every week or two to intentionally look for inspiration. You can do it in the morning or during your coffee break, not at night. Night, it's like the time where you have to unplug from everything and simply rest, spend quality time with your family, with your friends, or even with yourself. But keep 1 or 2 hours per week to read magazines, specific books, or to look for websites. You can also use Instagram or Pinterest, whatever, just to look for inspiration intentionally. So every time you have to look for something, you have to do it in that specific time frame. And the second thing, that's a strong one. I don't expect you will do it, honestly, because it's a tough one. it's delete Instagram. I'm not talking about deleting the account, but deleting the app on your phone. And since I did that, I became a creative machine. Not constantly being bombarded by useless content over and over again freed up my brain to generate my own idea. And the most important thing, it also let me be bored again. I mean, what was the last time you get bored and you didn't pick up your phone? Before that, I would kill my boredom opening Instagram and spending time on the feed, on the explore page, on the reel page, basically wasting my time. Now I just sit with my boredom and things come up together by themselves. So looking for inspiration on Instagram is absolutely fine, unless it's done intentionally. So the rest of the time, let creativity come to you. Get bored, and maybe creativity will show up in random moments, like when you're making a pizza or when you're making coffee or when you're walking with the dog, and all those kind of things happen to me actually. So to wrap up everything, here's my advice. Close this video, open your calendar, pick a time slot to search for inspiration intentionally, a coffee break or a quiet morning, set a reminder and respect it. And if you really want to go all in, delete Instagram app. But if you can't, that's okay. Just don't scroll mindlessly. Set a time limit and stick to it. And if you open the app, just look the first thing you see, like the first post. Eventually interact with it, but close the app after that. Don't scroll. Or use the time you scheduled on your calendar to scroll on Instagram. And here you can absolutely comment your favorite post to your favorite creator and engage consciously. And last but not least, grab your camera and go out. Seriously, don't stay here. Go outside and shoot. Look at the world around you or stay inside your place and just document your life happening at home. But do something now.